So that section of the report actually takes up 3 chapters. So if you're interested to find out more, I know it was a little bit dull and boring, but you can download the report and read through all the movements occurring in the PropTech markets. The next section, we're going to look at smart buildings, which is actually the most tangible of the sections we look into. Real estate has always been concerned with the bricks and mortar, the actual buildings themselves, and so hopefully this will give you a firm grounding and something quite easy to comprehend after all that last, all the facts and figures in the last section.
Hello, I'm Andy Saul from the Oxford Future of Real Estate Initiative, and today I'm going to be talking to you about our report PropTech 2020 and in particular the innovations of smart buildings. Smart buildings describe technology-based platforms which facilitate the operation of real estate assets. The assets can be single buildings or entire cities. The platforms may simply provide information about buildings or urban centre performance, or they may directly facilitate or control the buildings themselves. This sector supports real estate asset, properties and facilities management. So when we look at the report, we've divided the smart buildings into various different subsectors. The first 4 of these subsectors that we can see listed there are actually construction technologies, which detail the technologies which are bringing efficiency to how we plan, design and construct our buildings. However, our definition of smart buildings is concerned with the operation of the assets, with a written that the most fundamental requirement of any smart building is that it is energy efficient and provides a healthy living and working environment for the occupants. Therefore, what I'm going to focus on in this next section is these 3 topics here. The main problem currently facing the industry is buildings are stupid. They are still analogue while other professions have successfully digitalised. As a result, there's currently very little data on which to make key operational decisions such as energy efficiency, user experience, and space utilisation. This table shows that buildings with an EPC rating, that's an Energy Performance Certificate rating, of A or B achieve as much as 12% higher rents than those rated C or D. While certified buildings in M&G's portfolio, M&G being a real estate company, attracted a yield premium of 53 base points, or 0.5%. That's good, right? Certified energy efficient assets fetching a premium. Well, the next graph paints a somewhat different story. The Better Buildings Partnership found that there is no significant relationship between a building's EPC, the indicator used by government for their regulation, and its actual use in energy consumption. While Innovate UK discovered that on average buildings consume 3.8 times more energy than intended at design. In fact, one building in this study, which was consuming 10 times more energy than it was intended at design, had been awarded an independent sustainability rating of BREEAM Excellent. This finding is also backed up in the previous M&G study, where their certified buildings curiously have higher operational expenditure than non-certified buildings. A lack of accurate digitalised data has until now rendered attempts at measuring, attributing and mitigating energy consumption largely futile. Another problem caused by the legacy systems in place within the real estate industry are that workplaces do not promote productivity. When you consider that the World Green Building Council estimates that 90% of an average occupier's costs is their staff salary, it goes without saying that occupiers do not just want a workplace, they want a productive workforce. For decades, science has catalogued what we put in our bodies, with a new headline every week about the dangers of a certain diet. But how often have you seen a study about what we are putting our bodies in? Fortunately, this talk should give you a bit more information on those. A study from the British Council of Offices found that our workplace environment, being the lighting, the noise, the temperature, the ventilation, the control, the furniture and the space, has an average weighted productivity impact of 2.7%. This represents the same as an occupier saving twice their energy bill, or 25% of their rental costs, if we look back at this World Green Building Council's model. A colleague of ours at Saïd Business School, Professor Jean-Emmanuel Deneuve, found that across 1.8 million employees from 82,000 different firms, employee satisfaction increases their productivity. It also aids other business metrics such as firm profits, customer loyalty, and reduces the amount of staff turnover. Yet one of our partners, a major UK landlord, recently suggested they do not know the users of their buildings and have no access to data on the occupiers through which to inform investment decisions to increase either productivity or satisfaction of their tenants. Again, as with all these talks, technology will be the catalyst for change. I didn't even write that heading. That's the chapter heading of the UBS reports quoted, where they say technology is essential for promoting sustainability criteria in real estate. We'll now explore these changes and their associated key performance indicators, which, thanks to emerging technologies, are driving new social sustainability considerations in commercial assets. I'd like to pose a rhetorical question, which I'll do throughout these talks. And the first is, why do our cars have smart keys that are able to hold all the information regarding the operational use and running of the vehicle? Yet our buildings do not have a dashboard you can log into to find all the information regarding the running of each component of your building and its maintenance history. Well, perhaps that's about to change with the concept of a smart building. As with a lot of new innovations, there is no common definition of what exactly makes a building smart. So across the next 2 slides, I'll present to you my understanding of this subject. The first thing to say is that smart is definitely a dynamic concept. It's not static and it has changed over time. The original smart building would have been based around economic variables, such as profitability, accessibility, steady reliable returns, upward rent reviews, low vacancies, strong covenants, with terms like core, core plus, value add and opportunistic. A smart building was effectively just a good location. New buildings in city centre locations always fetched a premium. In the last decade, through social pressure and regulation, smart buildings had a need to cater for environmental variables. Terms such as energy efficiency, biophilic design, ethical sourcing, aesthetics, EPC ratings, BREEAM, LEED certifications, and net zero carbon commitments all became common. Smart buildings were effectively green buildings. However, more recently, the rise in space as a service and occupancy monitoring technologies has enabled a new measurement of social indicators, such as productivity, satisfaction, health and safety, well-being, and equality. Smart isn't yet, but it will become a positive user experience. This idea of smart and these factors that contribute to it are underpinned by global megatrends such as climate change, rapid urbanisation, changing demographics and social change, as well as the rise in the fourth industrial revolution. More specifically to real estate, emerging PropTech is enhancing our ability to collect, analyse and action alternative big data, allowing for new economic, environmental and social variables to be considered in the asset pricing decision. Perhaps the most important of these new big data sets is real-time occupancy data. This allows a smart building to integrate this information on actual building use with the operation of building systems, creating a more efficient outcome. It should also be noted that smart is one step beyond automation. A simple example of this is, as opposed to heating coming on and off as per a fixed schedule and thermostat representing an automated system, a smart building will collect data about the amount of people in any room, where they are, and it will compare this to models on the predicted future use of the room based on historical building data, then execute a heating and cooling strategy based on ambient external temperature and weather forecasts. Such responses are driven by a building's management system. A building management system controls most of the operational aspects of a commercial asset. Its heating, ventilation, air conditioning, lighting, fire and safety systems, that sort of stuff. As already discussed, real-time occupancy data provided by ever novel monitoring solutions, such as the wireless Internet of Things sensor shown on the left, can feed information into an AI-driven smart building energy management system to condition and illuminate rooms appropriate to actual usage, as opposed to fixed one-size-fits-all schedules which can save as much as 50% on energy consumption alone. However, a smart building management system can also enhance CO2 ventilation, proven to improve cognitive function and allow lighting to adjust to circadian rhythms, keeping employees more alert throughout the day. In doing so, a smart building begins to satisfy the physical requirements which the British Council for Offices found contributed to an average employee productivity gain of 2.7%, as I showed in my previous slide. Also interesting to note is a smart building allows for an accurate measurement of desk usage and availability, aiding office space optimization. We'll discuss this in section 4 of this talk on the shared economy. Such information provided by these systems could in time be added to a digital twin, a virtual replica of the physical asset, which would allow the building owner to simulate future scenarios to test possible methods for improving performance. This would represent a stage beyond even the smart building and towards the concept of cognitive buildings. So, time for another rhetorical question. Why is it we go online to compare hotels before we take a 4-day holiday, yet we do not go online to compare our offices before working there every day for the next 4 years? That just seems a bit daft. The answer is that such a website doesn't exist, but the solution is likely to be crowdsourced from the tenants themselves through mobile applications and workplace wearables. Tenant experience apps allow individual employees to manage their entire workday from their smartphone, but most importantly, it allows them to provide valuable digital feedback on their workplace experience through TripAdvisor-style push notifications. Perhaps slightly unnerving is the feedback produced by the rise of workplace wearables, such as the one pictured around this gentleman's neck, but also via fitness trackers and smartwatches. Around 202 million of these devices were given out by companies to their employees in 2016 alone. Such technologies allow behavioural and biometric data to be collected. This data can then be analysed alongside smart building management systems data, occupancy monitoring data, and company performance data to derive unrivaled insights on the impact of performance of different workplace variables and amenities. The data would also allow landlords to understand the individuals within their building and action the insights provided. This will help them to increase tenant retention, create a leasing differentiator, access data intelligence to drive asset strategy, elevate their asset and portfolio branding, and engage in community building. In time, the emergence of a market-leading provider would allow data to be aggregated and compared across buildings, perhaps leading to a new industry accreditation for how satisfactory any building is to work in, and in the process setting a new indicator against which to establish a market premium. The final major market benefit of adopting smart building technologies is in their ability to measure real-time space usage. The average desk utilisation rate of a London office is less than 45%, while in 2019 approximately 13% of all US office space remained unleased, totally empty. In an average London office containing 500 workstations, using occupancy monitoring technologies to enable 100% desk utilisation could save or even generate as much as £5 million a year on rent. It'll also reduce the amount of rooms or space which require heating and cooling, thus also saving on energy. This is the most tangible benefit of all smart building technologies, as it allows a clear and immediate return on investment and speaks a language the real estate industry understands in savings per square foot. Considering that by 2050, it's predicted that 80% of the existing building stock will still be in use, retrofitting this legacy building stock with new technologies will not be easy. Real estate may not yet have grasped environmental and social sustainability, but it's always understood money. Once leading PropTech providers emerge that can prove a reduction in the 1% energy costs and 9% rental costs, while maximising the payback on the 90% staff costs to the average occupier, then their adoption and implementation by the real estate industry, albeit for selfish space-saving financial reasons, will also carry with it positive environmental and social impacts in reducing energy consumption and improving user experience. So what we've just learned in this section on smart buildings is that accurate occupancy monitoring enables building systems operation based on accurate room utilisation data. Smart building management systems allow systems to maximise the productivity and well-being of employees through enhanced CO2 ventilation and lighting. Tenant feedback loops, biometric or otherwise, allow employees to promote the aspects of their workplace they find most satisfactory. An accurate measurement of spare capacity allows for a more efficient use of space. And market-leading smart buildings platforms that emerge will be able to aggregate and analyse digital data across buildings, allowing for an accurate, publicly discoverable rating of a building's intelligence and its occupant satisfaction. We believe that assets satisfying these new metrics will fetch a deserved market premium. In the next section, we'll focus on how to increase the liquidity of transactions through the application of real estate financial technologies.